Hey everyone, and welcome back to the San Francisco Wine Trading Company. I'm Jason.
And the castle.
Yeah. And since the food and wine pairing was so popular, I figured we'll do another one. Today we're doing a chicken ragu. Essentially that is a chicken sauce. Chicken, some onions, some garlic, a little bit of cream, and some egg yolks to thicken it up. It's very good.
Can't wait to try it. You know, rumor is my pairings on the last food and wine episode were pretty spectacular. And we're going to see if lightning strikes twice.
All right, and let's get cooking. Follow me. Now let's get started with our chicken ragu. First, we need our ingredients. Here we have some chicken thigh meat and a pot of boiling water, and we'll get to that later. And I also have bay leaves. Here we have 3, some sprig of thymes, and we'll utilize it in 2 steps here. 6 cloves of garlic and 1 whole onion. We also need 2 eggs and some heavy whipping cream, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But first, let's get these guys into here to extract some flavor and to build a stock. Broth, where there's no bones here. Let's put in our bay leaves and our sprig of thyme, and we'll keep that one separate for later use. And let's get these chickens in the pot, like so. Yeah, take your time, don't burn yourself. But what we need to do is to extract the flavor and build a broth, because it'll serve as the basis of flavor for our chicken ragu, or essentially a chicken sauce. Now, clean up your mess. First, you'll need your onions. But again, I forgot. Let's season our chicken broth. Well, the salt would help extract some flavor from the chicken and also season the chicken. And well, essentially we need that flavor to build up our chicken ragu. All right, now let's get started. We'll start with the garlic. What you need to do is give it a good whack and a quick run through with your knife. Nothing pretty. We'll put it in a bowl just to clean up your area. And there you have it. Set it aside and we'll get on with the onions. What you need to do is split it in half. Carefully, watch those fingers. And what you want to do is cut off the top. We'll keep the root end to keep the onion together. Now peel off the dried skin with your hands or with the back of your knife. Of course, be careful. Now, save those trimmings for your future stock endeavors. Let's dice up these onions. What I like to do is actually cut it's about 1/4 inch to about 1/2 inch wide. You can see that I'm angling my knife to make a fan. Not as traditional as, say, other techniques, but it does its job. Once you run your knife through, you get your dice pieces already. Now put those dice pieces into a bowl to save some space and clean up your area. We'll get rid of the knife now, but don't worry, we'll bring it back. Now on to the eggs, as well as the heavy whipping cream. We'll utilize this as the thickening agent later on for the sauce. What you need is your small bowl, as well as a measuring cup. In goes about 1/2 cup of heavy whipping cream. We'll set that aside as we utilize our small bowl to catch the egg whites of our eggs. Give it a whack and carefully slosh it around side by side, utilizing the eggshells to remove the egg whites, and the egg yolks goes into the heavy whipping cream, just like that. And set it aside. Now that you have that prepped and our chicken is done, we need to take out your chicken thighs to let them cool, because, well, they are hot. So be sure to take them out, set it aside for about 5 minutes before we actually chop into them as well. Now, during this time, get yourself a large frying pan, because we still need to finish the sauce and cook the onions and garlic and everything else too. And what you have here is 2 tablespoons of butter. Now we'll let that melt in the pan as we transfer our attention back to the chicken. Here, let's put it aside, and what we need to do is chop it up and dice it up just like the onions and garlic. Now, as the butter is fully melted now, let's turn on the heat to about medium-high and add in our onions. Don't forget, grab every piece, well, mostly every piece, and don't forget to season. I have here about a pinch of salt, a quarter teaspoon would do, to draw out some moisture as we cook it down. And here, if you can see it, it's about translucent, and now is the time to add in our garlic and our thyme, just for flavoring, and cook it down. Now, as this cooks down, take a little minute, we'll go back to David. Here you are.
Jason? There's probably a Nintendo Switch in the kitchen or something. That guy. Well, I'm ready to knock it out with the wine pairings. I hope you're thirsty, because I got some sauce to go with this sauce. We're gonna get saucy. The first thing I thought with this dish, white Burgundy. In addition to being the Berg Slayer, this is just gonna be a really nice bottle of wine. I love Chablis, and we're gonna have Chablis from Moreau-Naudet, one of my favorite producers. This is on the shelf at $44.95. It's from the 2017 vintage, which I think is a really charming vintage in Chablis. The reason I like this with the dish, it's got some of those savory elements because of a little bit of the age. That's going to mirror a lot of the kind of caramelized character we're getting from the onions in the dish. Also, the bright elements are going to cut through the richness that we're seeing here. Great value. Again, $44.95 on the shelf, and as the producer says, the wine is okay. The next wine we're going to try is another Chardonnay, but this is made in a style really similar to Burgundy, coming out of Santa Maria. The producer's Presqu'ile. It's $37.95. This is a cooler climate, so these are going to be higher acid, more mineral-driven styles than you're going to see in Napa or Sonoma, which I think is going to make a brighter, fresher style. It's got a little bit of texture, which I think will play kind of more to the richness of the dish versus the Chablis, which is going to kind of play to the opposite end of the flavor spectrum. So I think depending upon how you want the wine to kind of dance with the dish, you have two different options here. This is $37.95 on a shelf. A great small producer. I really like this wine a lot. And finally, as an outlier, or rather the ringer, little Chenin Blanc. Small producer, great winemaker. I hear he's super handsome too. Love and Terroir. It's a single vineyard, Jurassic Park, own-rooted Chenin out of Saint Ynez, made in the style really similar to Loire Valley. What does that mean? Unoxidized, bright, fresh, high acid, super crisp, a little bit of the savory kind of mushroom character, and more acid than Burning Man. So again, got to play the savory elements of the dish and then cut through the richness. $32.95 on the shelf. Only 70 cases produced, so you better get it before it's gone. Seriously, where is Jason? Jason?
Welcome back. Now, this is what you're looking for. That caramelization is very good. Now, time to get this back into this, just so that you could incorporate some heat, some caramelization, and to meld those flavors back together. Again, we want to build flavors into our ragu here, and it'll take a few minutes. Now, let it set, and afterwards, you want to deglaze. Here I'm utilizing the Normandin Mercier Petite Champagne VSOP Cognac, and I'll dash in about 3 tablespoons or so, and let that melt in. Scrape down the bottom of the pan to get those nice bits out. Now, utilizing our stock we made previously as the base, and here I utilize about 3 ladles. Depending on your ladle, you can eyeball that one. Now bring that up to a boil and make sure you season well, because once you finish seasoning, now it's time to thicken it up with the heavy whipping cream and egg yolk mixture. That going into here would definitely give it some really nice richness, which is delicious. Now first, be sure to fish out that sprig of thyme because that wouldn't be good eats. And here we go. Pop those egg yolks, stir it up, and be sure to turn off your fire. Now, the reason why you brought it up to room temperature is you wanted to temper your egg yolks. If we were to put this into the pot of hot boiling liquid, it'll make scrambled eggs. So make sure you turn off that fire, all right, and slowly drizzle in your egg and heavy cream mixture into the pot while stirring. All right, this would slowly bring up those egg yolks up to temperature so it will not scramble. What we're really doing here is trying to make a stirred custard of the sauce, which is nice and rich. So turn the heat back to low and continue stirring until your sauce thickens up to coat the back of a spoon. What you want to do is test it by running your finger through, and nothing should meld back together. And there you have the completed sauce. Now, you can serve this over pasta or rice, but we are going to utilize our puff pastry and serve it in a vol au vent or puff pastry cup. Now, all you have to do is remove the cap and a few layers underneath. Don't waste it because it's good for deepening. Yep, let's do another one. All right, so now all you have to do is serve it. Grab yourself a plate. The cavity of the puff pastry shell or vol au vent is the perfect vessel for the chicken ragu. You can't go too much or too little here. Don't forget to fill up some sauce, of course. There you go. Now, toppings or garnish, well, definitely you can sprinkle on some chives like I am. But don't forget the Parmesan cheese. Make sure you have your microplane grater and just grate it up. And there you have it. The chicken ragu in a vol au vent.
That's delicious. Where is everything?
Hey! That's for the food and wine pairing.
Well, it goes well with burgundy, I can tell you that. I'm drinking a little Jobard. Would you like some?
Sure.
Okay.
Oh, Jason.
Wait. Oh, shit. Sorry.
Would you spill?
No.
To the victor goes the spoils.
I guess make sure you like this episode and subscribe for future content. Cheers.